Serious, what are some unethical life hacks? NSFW. Nobody is going to question your presence at a hotel's continental breakfast, as long as you look okay. Confidence is everything. If you are just a few years out of college, or in my case, 10, you can still use your student ID for student discounts. Don't want to pay the Coinstar charge to cash your change? Unplug the Ethernet cord from the back of the machine, then feed your change in. You can make serious cash doing other people's homework for them. Whenever you go to buy a car, the sales guy will always give you that sheet that itemizes the charge and everything on it with the OTD price. That's the sheet that you sign when you agree on the price. What you do is take that sheet, tell them you'll need to think about this, do whatever you can, but take that sheet with you. Then, scan that sheet into your computer, OCR that sheet, change the numbers around to something you want that is reasonable. Make sure your math is right, print it out, bring it to another dealership, and negotiate from that fake invoice. Applying for a new loan and have, troubled credit? Dispute the derogatory items with the 3 credit bureaus roughly 45 days before you apply for the loan. The disputed accounts are ignored by the major scoring algorithms, which will give you a boost. If nothing else, the negatives won't be dragging down the score. Eventually, the bad credit will reappear, since your disputes will not succeed in getting the information removed from the credit bureau database. But, at least you got that loan. Don't tell them I told you. Edit. Well, this got some attention. For the record, yep, totally unethical. And, like many folks are saying, this is only going to work for lenders whose lending criteria, as far as credit is concerned, is solely predicated on the bureau score. For loans at a high dollar value like mortgages, the lenders are going to be quite a bit more thorough and will investigate credit history in more detail. The more sophisticated the lender, the more sophisticated the lending criteria and rules will be. Some lending systems may even flag the application for higher review, just because disputes are found, specifically targeted at folks trying to use this hack. That said, there will be some places that this could work. One commenter mentioned being approved for an apartment after using this cheat. YMMV, as always, I'm just a guy on the internets. This one nice and unethical, but if you go to Dunkin' Donuts about 30 minutes before closing time, they will give you all their leftover donuts if you ask. If you don't, they just throw them away. Have affairs with realtors. They have keys to empty houses all over town. Here is kind of a relevant story. I'm in the process of buying a house, and the first house I met my real estate agent at, she was packing a pretty nice looking handgun. Said she had it just in case there were squatters on the property. Every house we went to see after that day, no handgun. Guess I wasn't threatening enough. Obligatory edit. It's a pretty nice town, but her overall area she works in includes parts of Detroit and Pontiac, so I'm sure she's had some pretty shady clientele in the past. I had not met her previously besides some emails, so it's understandable to want to carry in that situation. Late to the show. But if you're ever in need, go into any hotel and tell the front desk that you stayed or visited there recently and left your sunglasses. Describe any generic style and you're sure to get a free pair of shades. Works with black umbrellas too. A hard hat, safety vest, and white truck can give you access to most places. Someone at work ordered a large shipment of Campbell's soup cans off Amazon so that he could have it for lunch every day. A few cans were dented, so we all joked he was going to get botulism, because he's the kind of guy that gets super nervous. He called Amazon to complain that he was worried about botulism. Boom. They resent the entire shipment, even though he told them only a few cans were dented. There was a lot of soup in the office after that. I don't think of this as unethical, but actually getting what you paid for when your laser printer toner cartridge $55.00 at Office Depot gives a low toner warning. Put a small piece of opaque tape over the sensor window on the side of the cartridge. You'll get a couple hundred more pages printed. So I guess this subject ties into a life lesson my grandma taught my mom. Growing up, there has always been this big-ass artistic rendition of map of South America hanging up on our wall. I guess the story of it was that it was originally at some gallery and my grandma just walks up to the goddamn wall, picks it off, and walks out calmly without hesitation. She told my mom that you could do anything as long as it looks like you know what you're doing and nobody will question it. Thankfully I don't see this being nearly as effective in today's world. Edit. I should make it clear my last comment was in regard to the specific act of grabbing a painting in a gallery, not so much the larger premise, because that's still obviously effective. Download the crappy watermarked low-res image that iStock gives for free. Upload that in Google's image-based search and find many people hosting the high-res. Need hot sauce. Looks like I'm getting Chipotle for lunch. Buildings/structures aren't as impenetrable as you might think. If a building has a composite shingle roof, you can typically just remove the shingles and cut through the backing underneath, usually plywood. In an unrelated note, alarm systems rarely monitor roofs. Also, if you're in a room with walls made of drywall, you're never really trapped. You can cut through the drywall and go through the wall itself, if needed. If you are married and interviewing for a position that requires travel, lose that ring and watch out for the ring tan line. If you aren't married and interviewing for a stable job, put on a wedding ring. If you have any close friends with kids, take some pics with them. If anyone questions you about the wife, just start looking like you are going to cry. No one will ask again. Having a family makes you a little less vulnerable to downsizing and gives you some great excuses for missing work. Hungover? Kid sick? Have to go to the hospital because a hooker jammed a cled stim up your ass? Kid sick? Stand near crowded concession stand at a stadium or something, like between two lines at the front. Keep looking into the back like you're waiting on something. At some point, someone goes, "What are you waiting on?" "Oh, just a couple of chicken tender baskets." 9 times out of 10, they'll be right back with a couple of chicken tender baskets. If you are still in high school/middle school, buy candy and snacks at your local dollar/value store and then take them to school and sell them for 2 to 3 times what you paid for them. Most of these kids get their money from their parents daily and have no idea the value of what they are buying. Look for sale candies that are between 10 to 33 cents and name brand. Selling store brand Pop-Tarts as Nama brand Pop-Tarts can also work surprisingly well. I used to make about 10 to 15 bucks a day doing this back when I was in high school, and the teachers rarely care unless you are disrupting class by selling them. Alternatively, wait for your school to do one of those chip sale for X reason things where kids sign up to sell X amount of chips. Then sign up for that, sell your first batch, then proceed to refill said batch with the snack pack chip bags you can get at any Walmart or grocery store. This can range anywhere from a 100% to 200% profit depending on if your school marks up the price of each bag to secure their cut. It's only unethical if you consider supply and demand economics unethical. On Craigslist or Armslist or any other classified site, find an item you want, lowball the person from several different emails, then send them a reasonable but still below asking value offer at them from your email. After being lowballed all day, they'll jump at your real offer. If you are at a grocery store, go to the produce section, then take a grape and eat it. Everyone will think you are just testing the grapes, but really you just wanted a grape. Buying and returning things. It's amazing how lenient the return policies at various stores can be. In college, I bought a 55 LED TV from Sam's Club and kept it in my apartment for 3 months and then returned it at the end of the semester for full money back and no questions asked. Can't write a good job application or CV. Post a job advertisement on those free websites for a position in the area you are interested in entering. Have random people apply to your fake job advertisement and use those CVs to create a master CV for yourself. Unethical if a hacks. Some that stand out to me. Buy a $10 Visa gift card, spend the money, then use the card for anything that doesn't require immediate authorization. Edit, since so many have asked. Some bars don't require immediate authorization to start a tab. You just need to give them a card. Then instead of closing your tab, just walk out at the end of the night. Don't want to lose your luggage at the airport? Buy a starting gun and put it in your bags. Explain you are attending a track and field match and you have a gun in your luggage. The airline will go to great lengths to secure and track your luggage. When buying something on Craigslist, search the same item in a faraway location. List it in your local area for much lower. Then inquire about the original item with a much lower price than they asked, claiming someone else is selling something very similar for much cheaper. Get into some areas for free. Hold your phone up to your face and talk loudly saying you left your purse near X. Okay, I'm on my way. Post fake job ads on Craigslist for positions you are interested in. Review all the resumes that get submitted and make sure yours stands out from the crowd. If you ever go to a country concert, wear something that implies you are in the military. You won't buy a single drink all night. If you ever kill someone, bury a dead deer 5 feet above the body. Any sniffing hounds or searchers will ignore the corpse after unearthing it. Have a crack in your windshield? Find a city truck and call the number on the back saying the truck flung rocks at you and cracked your window. They'll confirm the truck was where you said it was, and bam, new window free. Use a self-checkout when you go to the grocery store. That big old porterhouse. 4011. That expensive organic lettuce you want. 4011. Cucumbers. 4011. Tomatoes. 4011. Everything is a 4011. Brooklyn style free parking goes as follows. Find someone with a traffic citation on their car window. Take it. Park wherever the hell you please. Put citation on your window. When patrol rolls through, it looks as if you've already been dealt with. Edit. I was a victim of this. Didn't know I had an outstanding fine until I got a letter in the mail. Put vodka in a mason jar or other crappy container. Put something into it to make it taste different and sell it as moonshine at triple price. Here is what I have done at places I have worked at. Say that your workplace has a TV or electronic device you would like to have. If you have the opportunity, you take it apart and disable it so that it won't turn on. Management will replace it and throw the old one in the trash, where you can retrieve it and reconnect it so that it works. Need to move a large purchase or get a load of something across town and don't have a truck? Go to a used car lot. Find an appropriate truck for your needs. Tell the salesman you're interested in a test drive. Make sure you ask them if they have any problem with you taking it to your mechanic. That way, if they comment on how long it took, say your mechanic was backed up. Also, helps if you say your mechanic found something majorly wrong and are no longer interested in this truck, then leave. Before I bought a beta truck, I did this at least 3x a year to get a new fridge, help a friend move, get firewood, whatever I would need a truck for. If there is a film crew shooting a commercial or feature anywhere in your town, find the craft services area or the catering truck in the morning. Ask if this is where talent can get food. It's an ignorant question. You might sound dumb, but you'll get free food. Buy $100 of beer at Walmart or wherever. Hand friend receipt after you buy. Friend returns and fills shopping cart with exact same amount and type of beer. Friend heads straight for door and hands receipt to door greeter who is old and doesn't notice. Double your beer on beer on. Always treat your boss as an equal rather than a superior. This isn't strictly unethical, but there was an article about how people from privileged backgrounds end up treating their superiors as equal with the idea that one day they will eventually end up in their role. Seniors will begin to notice the guy that speaks his mind and engages with them on their level, rather than his quiet, unassuming colleague. The rich kid has a lot less to lose by pissing off some seniors than say the kid from an underprivileged background, who would try not to rock the boat, but consequently risks going unnoticed. When it comes time to pick between the two, they are much more likely to go for somebody that appears at least outwardly confident. NB. Accept no responsibility for when keeping it real goes wrong type scenarios. Want to play all the most recent games, but don't want to buy them? It's GameStop policy to allow you to return any used game that you bought from them used up to 7 days after purchase. Wait a week or two for a game to show up on the used games section and buy it, play it for a few days, return it. Use self-checkout lanes to buy expensive Honeycrisp apples, but tell the computer they are only bulk cheap apples. If you are meeting someone through Craigslist, ask them for their address first. Then go to Google Maps and pick a city the same direction. but twice the distance from their address. Tell the person from Craigslist you will meet them halfway, but in actuality they are coming to you, because you live where halfway would be. I haven't tried this. I'm half asking for feedback, but I think this would work. Just using this as an example, but say you want to buy a gaming mouse from Walmart. It's $80. Your friend goes to Walmart one day and takes a picture of the barcodes of a much cheaper mouse, hopefully even made by the same company. Then you go home. The two of you print out stickers of that barcode. Your friend goes back to Walmart and places the stickers on the boxes of the more expensive gaming mice. Now, you come back a day later. Hell, maybe a few days later. You pick up two of those mice. You go to the self-checkout. Scan said items. Even if an employee was watching over your shoulder, feed the Logitech mouse, or whatever it would read out on the screen, it would look correct if they weren't familiar with the price of that item. Even if they did discover the inconsistency, you, the person who purchased the item, could easily say you had no idea what the price was, or you could say, when I rung it up I thought it was on sale or something. Your friend who placed the stickers is also in the clear, because they never took the product off property themselves. As far as I can tell, it would be nearly impossible to get either party in trouble. The worst case scenario would be that they simply ask you to pay the difference. I doubt they would even do that though. And that is, even if they discovered the issue, it would mostly look like a consistent transaction on camera. I used to outsource my calculus homework to Indians online for $3 to $4 an hour. If you spend years slowly developing an immunity to arcane powder, you can trick people into poisoning themselves.